Hi guys, yeah, welcome to the channel. I'm just going to be looking at this performance brake modification, which I've got to be honest is the best £30 or £26 that you'll ever spend on your sim rig as far as I'm concerned. In fact, we'll just have a quick look in the box here. Obviously you've got the instructions. I've used the two middle ones. Obviously there's another green and a red one, and you've got two spares up here as well. But these are the ones that have come out of the rig when you get it. The two PU foam ones, and you get another foam insert that's down here. I'm guessing they're exactly the same strength as these ones. So if you ever wanted to replace them, you know, you've got two spare here anyway. But that's what come out of the original set, and I've installed again a 13 red and a 13 green. A little bit of grease on both of these when you're putting it in, but there's plenty of really good videos on YouTube that explains how to install V3 pedals, well, install this mod into V3 pedals. I mean, I've got the inverted version, which has this damper spring. It's like I guess it's a pneumatic pressure that's inside it, and I've removed this section because you don't need it on now. It's redundant, and I've got to be honest, the pedals are absolutely brilliant. I've installed it, so we'll just go around the back and I'll show you what I've done. It's quite tight to get in the back of where my pedals are, but when you're installing this modification, what you're going to want to do is right in the back here, very hard to see, there's a little Allen key. I think it's like a 3mm Allen key, just in the back. So you're going to undo this little grub screw, and you need to take out this bolt that goes right the way through. In fact, yeah, I haven't actually put the bloody grub screw back in. It's just sat there. So that's a find. It's a good job I pulled it out. So yeah, just put the grub screw back in. I'll do that in a minute. And then you want to take that out, push the bolt out, and that'll allow this spring just to fully travel really. And underneath here is where the damper is situated. So you need to take this bolt here out and the one on the other side to remove that. And then I forget where else. Yeah, just down here you can see a section that houses the damper. It's got a little bolt that comes through there. You need to pop that out. You don't need to take any leads out, anything. You don't need to disconnect any leads at all. Just be careful when you're putting it back, because there is a cable that runs all the way down this shaft. So try not to squash that too much, and you'll need to be able to prise a screwdriver in here to actually be able to get this set back in position, because when you can't physically push this down with enough force to be able to get this bolt back through, this silver bolt that goes all the way through, you should be able to just push it in, and maybe even I think I pried a screwdriver in this one end to be able to get it to angle back down and to be able to push it through properly. So it's not a very hard thing to do. A couple of Allen keys, that's all you need to be able to just remove the damper. Just be careful when you're doing it, because you have got the cable that runs just down the back here. Just be really careful you don't trap that too much and cause yourself any problems there. Yeah, it should be sat in the middle. But yeah, once you've installed that, it's move on to the next stage. Okay, so after you've managed to follow someone else's guide on how to get the PU springs and everything all set into place, and you've lubed everything up and you've just got everything installed, obviously you've got to move on to the next stage and recalibrate your pedal. Well, obviously the wheels, I'm using the Xbox One, so obviously it starts with the green ring. And to change that, you just want to be looking on the top here and just pressing the little button here. I think it's the menu button, and I think it's the A button at the same time. And that should swap it into PC mode, or it might be this button and the Y. I'll put a link to it anyway within the menu. But use the buttons on the top. You can do it using this button here. I think it swaps it into PC mode, but I had a problem getting it back to Xbox mode, and the only way it would do that is by using the ones on the top. So I've just used the ones on the top, to be honest. So yeah, just showing you here to go back to Xbox mode, just use the X button as well as the menu. I'm not going to recalibrate my own pedals because I've got them set at a nice resistance. But if you can see when I'm applying the pedal, you see how much travel? I mean, it's very hard to see. I've got this set on just as you see the one. There's the tension spring. It's just as you see the one. And when you're calibrating this pedal, you want to be pushing that pedal like you can hear the ABS spring come in, but you see there's about 1.5 inches maybe of travel, and I'm pressing that quite hard. I could probably push about 70 pounds, 80 pounds maybe of pressure going into the pedal. So you want to be pressing that pedal like you're braking pretty hard in your own car. You know, you're going to do an emergency stop. That's how much pressure you want to apply to the pedal. And once you don't need to unclip anything. Obviously all the pedal connections, you've got the shifter connection, all the connections go back to the base, and all you want to do is remove the cable that goes to the back of your Xbox or to your PS4, whatever you're using, and just plug that directly into your PC or your laptop. I don't know how you do your updates, like you're doing a firmware update, and you'll be able to recalibrate your pedals. I'm sure there's like a tick box to calibrate pedal, manually calibrate pedal or something like that comes up on the Fanatec software. But the best thing to do is to get it into PC mode. So you want to see the red ring where your start button is, and that shows it's in PC mode. And then have your tablet or your laptop, whatever, connected, launch the Fanatec software, and as soon as you plug a USB cable in, it'll automatically read that obviously you're wanting to look at something on your wheel. And I literally just click on the icon that shows the version 2.5 wheelbase, and that'll come up with like a sub menu that shows like the 3 bars for your clutch, your brake, and you'll be able to see that when you press on the pedal, it'll give you a reading. Well, there's another little tick box within there that's to recalibrate the pedals. And one of the things you want to do when you recalibrate is go into your setup menu, and you want to go to the brake force. So go to the brake force section. And I've got mine set on 3 at the minute. I used to have that set on about 70 or 90% or even 100% or something like that. And what this is doing is increasing the amount of pressure that you apply to the brake pedal. So if you have it set on 100 and I apply a small amount of pressure, however much pressure I'm applying, it's going to apply another 100% of pressure. So when you recalibrate the pedal, you need to set the brake force to off. So bring it all the way down till it reaches off. I've got it set on 3 at the minute, but I only ever adjust this now between off and about 10%, just depending on each different car and on how much pressure I want to apply. But when you're calibrating the pedal, make sure that that is off, and push the pedal as hard as you can press it, and then press the mouse button on that being the maximum amount of pressure that you're applying. And then that's you done then. But you want it that way so that when you're driving in a GT car, or I mean, this has even inspired me to use my left foot braking in my own car that I drive, a BMW that I've got. But it's given me the confidence to actually learn to get some, I suppose, fidelity really in using the left foot as a brake to apply the brake. I mean, before I changed to this, applying the brake in my own car, you almost went through the windscreen with the amount of pressure that you applied to the brake pedal. But because this is so much like my own car now, you can apply a very liberal amount of pressure to the pedal, and you're getting maybe half the amount of braking that you need. So you know when you're going into a corner flat out and you want lots of pressure on the pedal, you can feel that ABS come in. I'm not sure where I've got my ABS set out, but yeah, it's set down at 30. But during the game I actually turn that off. Turn off the traction control now, turn the ABS off completely, because you've got so much more, so much better range to apply your braking. I've just got so much more confidence in the braking zones since making this modification. I'm able to turn the car better, to get the car turned through a series of corners. And I'm just gonna fire up Watkins Glen that I was running yesterday, and just give you a little bit of an idea how the brake pedal should feel really. So I'll get this repositioned and we'll give it a whirl. So just come and have a look at the controllers, and if you look at calibrate pedals, and you can see the amount of pressure that I apply there. It's a very small amount of pressure, pushing harder, 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 harder. So I've got quite a lot of pressure on there to actually get the pedal to max out. Obviously I'm still driving just with one hand at the minute, so not exactly able to set my best times, but I can certainly get a comparative setting. This is just a practice session that I'm using at the minute, so it's a private lobby, and I've just found that practicing in time trial and setting up private testing is absolutely pointless, because it just feels totally different when you come to race online. So I started creating an online event. I just set it for an hour, just do the practice session. I'm not bothered about taking part in the race or anything. So I just have all my settings that I usually set up for an online race, and I just set the whole setting to a private session. So it's just me testing, but I've got all the options that you would usually get within a proper race, and it's just me. So a good thing about the RS Dash app, you can see me using it here. I'm not using it as I used to use it. I'm using it more to measure my sector times now, to give me a good idea of what I'm aiming for, because it stores all your personal bests as well. So you can see one of my personal bests is a 143.3. So I know what sort of sector times I'm looking for, and it gives me a good area to aim for. Just make sure that my setting is loaded in. I just go out and do an installation lap. Not bothered about speeding in the pit lane, because I'm not going to be taking I'm not going to be doing anything. You can see the amount of pressure I'm applying. I'm barely touching the brake pedal here. It just gives me a nice little amount of brake. And it's just how you would feel in a car. It's just a little bit of brake, barely touching the pedal. Get the tyres warmed up. So I'll just run a little installation lap here, just give you a few little pointers. So as we come down, we're going to be braking really hard at the 300 mark. I'm just trying to get the car turned in, maybe clipping a little bit of that curb, running out wide, and just full on the power. Full on the power all the way through here, just hitting this last apex and then turning in really steep to hit the other corner. And then running close to the curb again all the way through this section. Getting the car flat out to around the 300 yard board. Hard on the brake, run across the curb, take a little bit more curb, probably staying in 4th gear through here, and just keep a really nice tight line, running out a little bit wide, get the car turned in, tiny bit of brake, and then back full power all the way through here. Looking for the change in colour, hard on the brake, down to 3rd gear, just sort of balancing on the brake and the accelerator, keeping it balanced through there, back hard on the power. Back down into another hard braking section, right the way down to 3rd gear, balancing it with the brake pedal and the accelerator and back hard on the power. Should probably stay in 3rd gear through there. And again, hit the 300 yard board, hard on the brake, just balancing on the brake pedal and getting it turned in. Sometimes come down to 2nd, sometimes 3rd, depending on my line. And again, braking down here to 2nd gear, just as you come over the brow of the hill, just turns in and back full power all the way around. And we just, sometimes I don't brake here, sometimes I just lift off. Tiny dab of the brake pedal, I think, and then flat on the power. Tiny touch of the brake pedal again through here, just to turn the car, and then full on the power again. So you can see there, 1:43.3. Still a good lap time, not my best lap time, and I still think there's a 1:42 in there. But just getting the car turned in, it really is a great car. The brake pedal has made a huge difference to my lap times, confidence in the braking zones. Just definitely a a good purchase, especially for the cost. The cost implications are next to nothing, and the benefit is just fantastic. So thanks for joining, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's useful. Hope it's changed your mind as to whether you need the performance kit or not. And stay tuned for more stuff coming soon. Thanks again, guys.